Okay, this is going to be the last half of the review from Unit 9, Formative 2. So I've got my box set up here. Again, you can also do the FOIL method. So when I multiply these together, I'm going to take 1 times 10. That's going to give me 10. Moving on to the second one, I get 1 times the square root of 6 to give me the square root of 6. And then I move down to the square root of 3. Take the square root of 3 times 10 to give me 10 the square root of 3. And lastly, take the square root of 3 times the square root of 6 to give me the square root of 18. So now I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms here. So I don't see any of my square roots that are the same, so I'm just going to start by writing everything out. I've got 10 plus the square root of 6 plus 10 square root of 3 plus the square root of 18. Now I just got to look and see, can I simplify any of these square roots? I can't simplify the square root of 6 or the square root of 3, however I can simplify the square root of 18. Biggest first square that goes in is the square root of 9 times the square root of 2, and the square root of 9 is 3. So I get 3 square root of 2, and everything else is just going to come straight down and stay the same. So I have 10 plus the square root of 6 plus 10 square root of 6 plus 3 square root of 2 for your final answer. Okay, moving on to number 7. Number 7 is pretty much the same thing, however, this 2 up here means that I have 2 of these. So really this is the same thing as saying I have the square root of 10 minus 3 times the square root of 10 minus 3. Okay, so go ahead and try setting up your box method, and then once you have, go ahead and unpause the video. Okay, so I have my box set up. I'm going to go ahead and take the square root of 10 times the square root of 10, which is the square root of 100, which is actually just 10. Next, I'm going to take the square root of 10 times negative 3 to give me negative 3 square root of 10. Now I'm going to move down here, negative 3 times the square root of 10, that's negative 3 square root of 10 again. And lastly, I've got negative 3 times negative 3, which is positive 9. Okay, now I can go ahead and combine my like terms here. I've got 10 plus 9, that's going to give me 19. And then I have my negative 3 square root of 10 and negative 3 square root of 10. They don't cancel out, but I add them together to give me negative 6 square root of 10 for your final answer. All right, now we're going to go ahead and move to the back page and do solving radical equations. Okay, so here we are on the back side. We have a square root on the left side with 9s plus 1 underneath it, and then 10 on the right side. The first step is to make sure your square root is by itself. In this case it is, so once it is, I can go ahead and just square both sides, because the square and the square root are going to cancel out, and we'll just be left with 9s plus 1 equals 100. And now at this point, it's just a two-step equation. Let's go ahead and finish solving it. I'm going to subtract 1. I get 9s equal to 99. And then I'm going to divide by 9, so s equals 11 for your final answer there. Okay, number 9, we've got to do a few things before we can actually go ahead and get the square root by itself. I need to first go ahead and add this 4. Not dividing by 5 yet, I'm adding the 4 first. So I get 5 square root of x equals 30. Now how do I get rid of the 5? Well, the 5 is being multiplied, so how do I undo multiplication? We divide, so I'm going to divide by 5. Divide by 5. Once I've divided, I'm left with the square root of x equals 6. And now that the square root is by itself, now and only now can I square both sides. And now the square and the square root cancel out, and I'm left with x equals 36. All right, we got 2 more. Number 10 here, number 10, I've got square roots on both sides, and they are by themselves, so we can go ahead and just square both sides automatically, and my square to my square root cancel out. So I'm left with x plus 7 equals 19 minus x. Now it's just a multi-step equation here. We've got x's on both sides, so let's move the smaller one over to the other side here. So I'm going to move the negative x over by adding it to both sides. X plus x is 2x. And now it's a two-step equation, so first thing we got to do is subtract that 7 to get 2x equals 12. And then we'll divide by 2 to give me that x equals 6. And we could plug that back into this original equation, and it should come out to be true. All right, last equation here. I've got 2 square root of x plus 4 equals 22. So when I have something with my square root, I got to get rid of it first. So first thing we're going to do is divide by 2 on both sides. Then I'm left with the square root of x plus 4 equals to 11. How do I get rid of the square root? I square both sides. Square and the square root cancel. I'm left with just x plus 4 equals 11 squared, which is 121. Quick one-step equation here. Get rid of that 4 minus 4 minus 4, and I get that x equals 117 for your final answer. If this video still left you a little confused, please come in and get some extra help. I'd be happy to help you in person. Thanks.